EU anti-fake news agency starts debunking in Chinese.
Here's a summary of the article.
After 7 years of tracking and debunking pro-Kremlin disinformation campaigns in the bloc, the EU's anti-fake news agency is now looking even further east in a bid to counter Chinese propaganda. 2 reports from EU versus Disinfo were over the past few weeks released in Chinese, a first for the task force, which usually publishes its reports in one or several of 13, mostly European, languages. EU versus Disinfo has published these 2 articles in Chinese to provide Chinese-speaking audiences with fact-based information to help raise awareness of disinformation surrounding the war in Ukraine, a spokesperson from the EU Commission explained to Euronews. In the past, EU versus Disinfo has reported on alignment between pro-Kremlin and Chinese state-affiliated and state-controlled sources, for example on COVID-19, human rights violations in Xinjiang, Afghanistan and Ukraine. It has also covered China's messaging around Russia's military aggression against Ukraine, they added. They have also condemned comments by Chinese officials relaying official lines from the Kremlin branded fake, despite China assuring wanting to remain neutral. The EU has slowly realized, during the COVID-19 pandemic and the war in Ukraine, that it was not only Russia but also China that have been targeting for years the European audience with anti-systemic messages. Ivana Karaskova, founder and leader of Map Influence EU, which maps Chinese and Russian influence in Central and Eastern Europe, told Euronews. China has been piggybacking on Russia's channels in Europe for quite some time, so any measures which will target pro-Kremlin disinformation sites will have a secondary effects on China too, she also stressed.
This post received a score of 14,000, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
To birds born in cages, flight is viewed as mental illness, graffiti in Hong Kong.
They just have a pre-built mindset that the West are all fake, while desperately trying to crawl out of their paradise.
Like that post yesterday of the F Xi Jinping sign in Australia. There was a lot of pissed Chinese people. I saw a Chinese guy on the streets in Sydney pushing anti-CCP and everyone was ignoring him. I was feeling pretty scared by him, not sure if it's a honeypot scheme to spy on the movement or if there are actual SPYs that have eyes on him to see who's talking to him. There are many confirmed cases of people in Australia to be Chinese SPYs. The CCP has disappeared billionaires FFS, I wouldn't want to be seen to anger them.
If you're living in Australia, you should not be afraid of a foreign government to that level law.
The CCP sends students to infiltrate universities to spy on actual Chinese students studying there abroad. China is very active in Australia. Also, you don't know if that person has family in China. The CCP isn't worried about having to use family in China to keep people in line abroad.
Can they also do this in Hungary? Sincerely a Hungarian?
EU versus Disinfo write articles in at least 13 different languages, and yes, they write about disinformation in Hungary too.
Oh nice, thanks for linking.
This is the website. How do I see the Chinese version? I don't know. This article is claiming they're publishing in Chinese, but I don't see any Chinese or other Asian languages in the drop-down for selecting the language.
What are anti-systemic messages?
Unrelated, but the EU and China flags look very satisfying next to each other.
It's the stars. I'm always surprised so many countries and groups, with very different ideologies, use the same symbol. The US, North Korea, the EU, China, Australia, Vietnam, etc. etc.
I think it's both how the stars line up and the colors go good together.
We definitely need more information literacy and critical thinking.
The issue is many people who fall for disinformation are the same people telling those they disagree with to think critically and for yourself. Which I always love the irony of.
Yeah, that lack of self-awareness always pisses me off actually. Think critically is just what people say to talk down to others while also calling them wrong and stupid. It's ridiculous.
The thing that really bums me out is when people have free access to information, they still continue to believe and spout bullshit. A large portion of Americans believe the last election was rigged despite there being no tangible proof.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.